The text came through at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Hey sis. Use some of your trust fund for the yacht. You don't mind, right? Family money is for sharing. I stared at my phone screen in my office at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Outside my window, Wall Street bustled below. Inside, I felt my blood pressure spike. I was 31 years old and the youngest appointed commissioner to the New York State Banking Commission in history. My job was regulating financial institutions, investigating fraud, and protecting consumers from predatory banking practices. My brother Marcus had just confessed to financial fraud via text message. I opened my banking app. My trust fund account, the one my grandmother had left me when she died 5 years ago, showed a balance of $127,000. It should have shown $1,017,000. $890,000. Gone. My hands shook as I scrolled through the transaction history. Yacht purchase, $650,000. Marina fees, $45,000. Yacht furnishings, $89,000. Entertainment systems, $67,000. Captain's salary advance, $39,000. All authorized with forged digital signatures. Another text came through, having a launch party this weekend in the Hamptons. You should come celebrate with me. Bring that boring banker boyfriend of yours face with tears of joy. Marcus didn't have a boyfriend. I'd been single for 3 years, too focused on my career to date. But he didn't know that because he'd never asked. He didn't know anything about my life beyond what he could extract from it. I opened my secure work laptop and accessed the New York State Banking Commission's fraud investigation portal. My fingers moved automatically, muscle memory from 1,000 fraud cases. But this time the victim was me. I pulled up Marcus's financial records. As a banking commissioner, I had access to every account, every transaction, every loan in the New York banking system. What I found made my stomach turn. He'd opened 7 credit cards in my name over the past 2 years. Total fraudulent charges, $340,000. He'd taken out a personal loan using my income verification. Forged, of course. Another $200,000. He'd somehow accessed my investment accounts and liquidated stocks without authorization. $145,000. The yacht was just the latest in a long pattern of theft. My assistant, Patricia, knocked on my door. Commissioner Ashford? Your 3 o'clock is here. Cancel it, I said, not looking up from my screen. Cancel everything today. Is something wrong? I looked up at her. Patricia had worked with me since I joined the commission 4 years ago. She'd seen me handle billion-dollar fraud cases without flinching. My brother stole almost $1 million from me, I said quietly. And he just texted me about it like he borrowed $20. Patricia's eyes widened. What are you going to do? I looked back at my screen at the cascading evidence of fraud spanning 2 years. My job. I'd always been the responsible one. While Marcus partied through college on my parents' money, I'd worked 2 jobs to pay for Columbia Law School. While he found himself traveling through Europe for 3 years, I'd clerked for a federal judge and built my reputation in financial law. When Grandma Rose died and left us each $1 million trust fund, Marcus had burned through his in 18 months. Luxury cars, penthouse apartment, bottle service at clubs, and a failed cryptocurrency consulting business that was really just him telling his friends to buy Bitcoin. I'd invested mine carefully. Index funds, blue-chip stocks, and a small real estate portfolio. I'd grown it to over $2 million before Marcus started stealing from it. Our parents thought he was brilliant. Marcus is an entrepreneur. Mom would say. He's a visionary. Dad would add. Meanwhile, I was just the boring lawyer who worked too much. They didn't know I'd been appointed to the banking commission. I'd kept it quiet, using my maiden name professionally, Ashford, not Monroe, to avoid my family's attention. I'd wanted one part of my life they couldn't touch. Apparently I'd failed. I spent the rest of Tuesday documenting everything. Every forged signature. Every unauthorized transaction. Every fraudulent account application. By midnight, I had a case file that would make a federal prosecutor weep with joy. Wednesday morning, I called an emergency meeting with the Commission's fraud investigation team. We have a case, I said, projecting Marcus's financial records on the screen. The suspect has committed systematic financial fraud against a victim over 2 years, totaling approximately $1.3 million including interest and fees. My senior investigator, James Chin, whistled. That's felony grand larceny. Multiple counts. Who's the victim? Me, I said. The room went silent. The suspect is my brother, Marcus Monroe. He's been forging my signatures, opening accounts in my name, and accessing my trust fund without authorization. Yesterday, he used my account to purchase a $650,000 yacht. Jesus, someone muttered. I'm recusing myself from the formal investigation, I continued. But I'm authorizing a full forensic audit and coordinating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office for criminal prosecution. James, you'll lead. Commissioner, James said carefully, are you sure you want to do this? He's your brother. He's a criminal, I said flatly. And I took an oath to prosecute financial crimes without prejudice. That includes family. I handed him the case file. He's having a yacht launch party this Saturday in the Hamptons. I want the asset seizure notice served there. In front of all his guests. James grinned. Poetic justice. I like it. Thursday, I met with Assistant District Attorney Rachel Vance. She reviewed my documentation with the focused intensity of a predator. This is one of the cleanest fraud cases I've ever seen, she said. Documented digital trail, forged signatures, unauthorized access. It's prosecutorial gold. He even confessed via text message. Will it go to trial? I asked. Not if his attorney has any sense. This is a plea deal case. The evidence is overwhelming. She looked up at me. Your brother is going to prison, Commissioner Ashford. Are you prepared for that? I thought about the text message. The casual entitlement. The yacht. The years of being dismissed as boring, while he burned through money like it was oxygen. Yes, I said. I'm prepared. Friday afternoon, Marcus called me. I let it go to voicemail. Liv. Hey. I know you're busy with your little banking job, but seriously, you need to come to the party tomorrow. I'm even flying Mom and Dad out. It's going to be epic. I named the yacht Monroe Legacy, after the family. You're going to love it. I saved the voicemail. Evidence item number 847. That evening, I received an email from my bank's fraud department. They'd flagged suspicious activity on my accounts and frozen everything pending investigation. I called the fraud department manager directly. This is Commissioner Ashford. I filed the fraud report myself. Please proceed with the investigation and coordinate with the district attorney's office. We'll need to verify. I'm the commissioner of the New York State Banking Commission, I said sharply. I'm aware of the procedures. Follow them. By Friday night, I had authorization for asset seizure. The yacht, the cars, the penthouse apartment. Everything Marcus had purchased with my money would be confiscated Saturday afternoon. During his party. Saturday morning, I drove out to the Hamptons. I wasn't going to the party, I was going to watch it end. The marina was stunning. Wealthy boats bobbed in crystal blue water. Marcus's yacht was docked at the end of Pier 7, a gleaming white 55-footer with Monroe Legacy painted in gold letters. I parked 3 piers away and waited in my car. James Chin and his team were positioned near the yacht with Suffolk County Sheriff's deputies and federal marshals. The party started at noon. Guests arrived in luxury cars, dressed in yacht club whites and designer sunglasses. I recognized several of Marcus's friends from college, trust fund kids who'd never worked a day in their lives. My parents arrived in a chauffeured Mercedes. Marcus must have paid for it. With my money. I watched through binoculars as Marcus held court on the yacht's deck, champagne in hand, gesturing expansively. He was in his element. The successful playboy, the golden child, the life of every party. At 2:15 p.m., James Chin and his team approached the yacht. The deputies and marshals followed, official badges visible. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I didn't need to. I saw Marcus's face change from confusion to concern to panic as James showed him the asset seizure warrant. The guests started murmuring. Marcus was shaking his head, gesturing wildly. James remained calm, professional, authoritative. Then the deputies boarded the yacht and began ordering everyone off. My phone rang. Marcus. I answered. Olivia, he screamed. The cops are seizing my yacht. They're saying it's fraud. You work in banking, you need to fix this. I can't fix fraud, Marcus, I said calmly. I prosecute it. What are you talking about? Just call your boss or whatever. This is insane. Marcus, where did you get the money for that yacht? Silence. I used the family trust fund. That's not fraud. It's family money. It was my trust fund. You forged my signature to access it. That's identity theft, forgery, and grand larceny. You're being dramatic. Family shares money. I'm being accurate. I'm the New York State Banking Commissioner, Marcus. I regulate financial crimes. And you just committed about 15 of them. The line went dead silent. Then, you're what? I've been the banking commissioner for 4 years. I kept it quiet because I didn't want family drama interfering with my career. Turns out I should have advertised it. Might have prevented you from committing felonies against me. Olivia, please. His voice cracked. Don't do this. I'm your brother. You stole over $1 million from me. You forged my signature 17 times. You destroyed my credit rating. You treated me like a piggy bank while calling me boring and dismissive. I kept my voice steady. You're not my brother. You're a criminal I'm prosecuting. I heard him scream. Mom, Olivia is doing this. She's having my yacht seized. I heard my mother's voice, shrill even through the phone. Olivia, stop this right now. You're embarrassing this family. No, Mom. Marcus embarrassed this family by committing federal crimes. I'm just doing my job. Your job is destroying your brother's life. His choices destroyed his life. I'm just documenting them. I hung up and watched as deputies escorted everyone off the yacht. Marcus was crying now, surrounded by confused guests and disappointed parents. James Chin placed him under arrest. I watched the handcuffs go on, watched Marcus's face crumble, watched my parents screaming at the deputies. My phone exploded with calls and texts. Family friends. Distant cousins. My uncle demanding I stop this madness. I turned my phone off and drove back to Manhattan. Marcus's trial lasted 6 weeks. The evidence was so overwhelming that even his expensive attorney couldn't mount a credible defense. He was convicted on 14 counts: identity theft, forgery, grand larceny, wire fraud, and financial exploitation. The judge sentenced him to 12 years in federal prison with no possibility of parole before 8. My parents never forgave me. They wrote me out of their will, stopped calling, and told the entire family I'd betrayed them. Aunts and uncles I'd known since childhood sent me hateful emails about loyalty and family values. I blocked them all. The yacht was auctioned. I recovered $580,000 after fees. The penthouse apartment, the cars, the designer furniture. All liquidated. Combined with criminal restitution orders, I recovered 93% of what he'd stolen. The remaining 7% I wrote off as the cost of learning who my family really was. 3 months after sentencing, I was featured in the Wall Street Journal. Banking commissioner prosecutes own brother for $1 million fraud, justice without prejudice. The article made national news. I received hundreds of messages from fraud victims thanking me for proving that no one was above the law. I also received death threats from people who thought I was a heartless monster for destroying family. I didn't care. 6 months after the trial, I was promoted to Deputy Commissioner of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. My prosecution of Marcus had demonstrated exactly the kind of ethical backbone the Federal Reserve valued. I moved into a corner office with views of the Hudson River and a salary that would have made Marcus weep with envy. My phone rang one afternoon, a blocked number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Olivia. My mother's voice, small and broken. Yes. Your brother. He's having a hard time in prison. He's in danger. You need to do something. I'm not a prison administrator. I can't help him. You put him there. You owe him. I owe him nothing. He stole from me. He faced consequences. That's how justice works. He's your brother. He was my thief. Now he's an inmate. That's all he is to me. I hung up and blocked the number. That evening I stood on my apartment balcony overlooking Central Park. I'd bought the apartment with my recovered funds, 2 bedrooms, floor-to-ceiling windows, and a view that cost $3 million. Paid for with money I'd earned and protected. Not stolen. Earned. My assistant had asked me once if I regretted prosecuting Marcus. I'd thought about it carefully before answering. No, I'd said. I regret not doing it sooner. Because the truth was simple. Marcus had never seen me as a sister. He'd seen me as a resource to exploit. My parents had never valued my achievements. They'd valued Marcus's charm and my money. They'd made their choices. I'd made mine. I'd chosen justice over family mythology. Truth over convenient lies. Self-respect over enabling criminals. And I'd won. The next morning I arrived at the Federal Reserve and approved 3 new fraud investigations. Each case involved family members stealing from each other just like Marcus had stolen from me. I prosecuted them all with the same ruthless efficiency. Because I'd learned the most important lesson. Family isn't defined by blood. It's defined by respect, trust, and mutual care. Marcus had none of those things. He'd had entitlement, greed, and contempt. And now he had 12 years in federal prison to think about the difference. I pulled up the text he'd sent that started everything. Family money is for sharing. I finally replied 2 years later, stolen money is for prosecution. Enjoy federal prison. Then I blocked his number and went back to work.